Then the doors opened and Z walked in. No makeup, simple black dress, calm face. The hall turned into ice. Someone screamed. Kemi's champagne glass fell and shattered. Sade stumbled backward like she saw a spirit. Z walked slowly, eyes locked on them. In Surulere, where the morning smelled of akara oil and exhaust fumes, and every street had a nickname. Zainab Z. Adeyemi grew up learning two Lagos truths early. If you're quiet, people will rewrite your story. If you're poor, even your tears become entertainment. Z was the third daughter in a family that once had soft life written on their faces. Their father, Chief Tunde Adeyemi, was not just rich, he was Lagos rich. The kind of man that used to say, I'll call you back, and meant it, because people actually waited. He had properties in Lekki Phase 1, a duplex in Magodo, land documents stored like holy scriptures, and a private driver who believed traffic was a personal insult. But money can be loud today and silent tomorrow. When Chief Tunde fell ill, the family's world shrank from champagne to cough syrup. Hospital bills started swallowing the shine. Relatives began visiting with fake sympathy and real calculations. And inside the house, the sisters became different versions of the same hunger. Kemi, the first daughter, was sharp, fashionable, and always on her phone. She lived like Instagram was a court and she must win every case. Sade, the second, was quieter but colder. She could smile while planning your downfall, like it was a routine errand. Z, the last, was the one who still believed in family. When their father died, Lagos didn't pause. It never does. Traffic still choked Third Mainland Bridge like a stubborn spirit. Neighbors still shouted. Hawkers still ran beside cars. Life moved fast, but grief moved slowly, especially for Z. She cried until her eyes swelled, but her sisters cried only enough to look human, because death had come with a price, inheritance. An inheritance in Lagos is not just money, it is power, it is status, it is survival. The wheel that broke the house. A week after burial, they gathered in their father's sitting room, ceiling fan whining, curtains half closed like the house itself was tired. Their father's lawyer, Barrister Fagbohun, cleared his throat and opened the folder. Kemi sat with crossed legs, nails shiny like weapons. Sade leaned back, eyes calculating. Z sat forward, hands clasped, still smelling like morning. The lawyer read. At first, it sounded normal. Properties divided among the children. But then his voice shifted. The Lekki Phase 1 property, the duplex, the land documents, and the shares shall be held in trust under the third daughter, Zainab Adeyemi, until certain conditions are met. The room froze. Kemi blinked like she didn't hear properly. Sade's smile melted. Z's mouth opened, but no words came out. The lawyer continued. The reason, as Chief Tunde stated, is that Zainab has proven the most responsible and least reckless with money. She is to ensure the family's assets are protected from impulsive spending and external manipulation. Kemi slammed her palm on the table. External manipulation? Is he calling me a prostitute? Sade's voice was soft but poisonous. So daddy thinks we're thieves, but Z is saint. Z finally spoke, voice trembling. Please, this is not what I asked for. Daddy must have. Kemi stood up and laughed. It was not joy, it was anger wearing makeup. Z, shut up. You're acting like you're shocked. This is the game you've been playing. Z's heart beat painfully. I didn't do anything. Sade leaned forward, eyes narrowing. You didn't do anything. And that's exactly why you got everything. That day, the house became a battlefield. The grief turned into jealousy. The sisters began speaking in smiles and acting in silent war. And Z, who thought the worst had already happened, didn't know that a real burial had not yet come. Lagos teaches people wickedness weeks past. Kemi began posting subtle shade on Instagram. Caption: Some people will cry in church and still at home. Comment section: Fire emojis, laughing emojis, people tagging people. Sade started telling relatives that Z had hypnotized their father or turned him against his own blood. Lagos relatives are like generators. Once they start making noise, they don't stop. Soon the family WhatsApp group became a courtroom. Z, why are you holding what belongs to everyone? Z, you are young. Don't let greed destroy you. Z, remember karma. Z tried to keep calm. She even suggested selling a smaller property and sharing money equally. But Kemi wanted the main Lekki house, said they wanted the shares. They didn't want fairness, they wanted control. And in Lagos, when people can't control you legally, they start planning illegally. The setup. One Friday evening, Kemi called Z sweetly. Baby sister, abeg, let's settle this like family. Come to Lekki, we'll talk. Z hesitated, but the sweetness felt like hope. Maybe this can end, she thought. She entered an Uber and battled Lagos traffic, Ojuelegba, then Falomo, then the stretch that looked like the road was tired of being used. The city's chaos felt normal, but something inside her felt wrong. When she arrived at the Lekki house, she noticed something. The security man was different. The gate opened too quickly. The compound was too quiet. Inside, Kemi and Sade welcomed her with smiles and hugs that felt like cold cloth. They sat. They offered her drink. Z refused. She had learned not to accept drinks when peace arrives too suddenly. Kemi sighed. Z, we're sorry for the fights. Sade nodded. We've been stressed. Lagos is hard. Z's eyes softened. I don't want us to be enemies. Kemi smiled wider. Then sign these papers. They slid documents across the table. Property transfer papers. Z froze. You said talk, not blackmail. Sade's tone shifted, sweet dropping into steel. It's not blackmail, it's family arrangement. Kemi's voice hardened. Sign it or we'll make you sign it. Z stood up, shaking. You can't do this. Kemi snapped her fingers, and the door behind Z opened. Two men entered, big, quiet, faces like unfinished stories. Z's throat tightened. Is this what you've become? Sade's eyes were empty. This is Lagos. It changes people. Z tried to run. They held her. A cloth covered her face. Her last sight was Kemi's phone recording. Kemi's lips moved. Make sure she's gone, but make it look like Lagos swallowed her. Lagos swallows people every day. Darkness took Z like a wave, buried under a city that never cares. Z woke up in pain. Her mouth tasted like metal and fear. She tried to move but couldn't. Something heavy pressed around her body, tight, wooden, suffocating. Her brain screamed, coughing. She punched, she kicked, her nails tore. She screamed, but the sound died in wood. She couldn't breathe properly. Then she heard it. Not voices, not laughter, only the sound of earth eating wood. Gbam, gbam, gbam. They were burying her alive in Lagos, in a city that wouldn't even notice. Her lungs burned, her mind spun, memories flashed. Her father's laugh, Surulere mornings, her sisters braiding her hair as a child. She begged, she prayed, she promised God she would change everything if she lived. The earth kept falling, then silence, total darkness. Z's breath became short. She began to lose herself. And just when her body decided to surrender, a sound, a scrape, a crack, light, not much, but enough. Someone was digging. Her body trembled with weak hope. The wood opened, and she saw a face above her, a young man, sweat on his forehead, eyes wide. Ah, you're alive! He dragged her out like a person pulling treasure from sand. Around them was a half abandoned construction site near Aja, the kind of place people dump rubbish and secrets. The young man, Toby, a night security worker and part time delivery rider, had heard strange sounds during his shift and followed it. He stared at Z like she was a ghost. Madam, who do this to you? Z tried to speak, but only coughed dirt. Toby carried her, hid her in a small security cabin, and called a nurse he knew in the neighborhood, a woman named Auntie Ify who did night clinic work. By morning, Z was breathing but broken. Her phone was gone, her documents gone, her identity was being erased. Somewhere in Surulere, her sisters were already preparing the story. Z traveled abroad. Z ran away. Z was kidnapped. Z died. In Lagos, lies are like Okada riders, plenty, fast, and always available. Z couldn't go to police immediately. Why? Because Lagos police loves two things: bribes and complicated stories. How you take enter coffin? One officer would ask, laughing. You sure say you know they run ritual? Another would add. And her sisters had money and influence. If Z showed her face too early, they would finish what they started. So she stayed hidden. Toby and Auntie Ify helped her recover. She learned to walk again, to breathe without pain, to sleep without screaming. And while her body healed, her mind sharpened like a knife being prepared. Z began planning like a Lagos woman who has nothing left to lose. She created a new identity online: a faceless Instagram page, a TikTok account, a Twitter account. She began collecting evidence. Toby remembered the car that came that night. He had seen the plate number because Lagos people memorize plate numbers like they memorize insults. Auntie Ify had kept her hospital record notes showing Z arrived with signs of suffocation and soil in her lungs. Z began reaching out to people who hated Kemi and Sade quietly: old house staff, angry ex-friends, relatives who had been cheated before. Lagos is full of people waiting for revenge. Z just needed to organize them. And as the weeks passed, her sisters became confident. They started selling assets. They told everyone Z was missing, but secretly celebrated. Kemi posted more content. Family is not always blood. Some people don't deserve inheritance. Sade started attending business meetings with their father's old associates, acting like queen. They thought Z was soil, but Z was learning something else. In Lagos, a person who dies and returns is not normal. They become a myth, and myths can destroy empires. The return begins as a whisper. Z's first strike wasn't dramatic, it was small. A rumor placed in the right ears. A voice note sent anonymously to a family WhatsApp group. Ask Kemi and Sade what they did in Aja that Friday night. Just that, nothing more. The group erupted. People laughed at first, then questions started forming. Kemi replied angrily, "Who is this mad person?" But anger is a sign of fear. Lagos people notice fear quickly. Z posted a video on TikTok. No face, only a hand holding soil. Caption: Some people bury what they cannot control. It went viral, not because people understood, but because Lagos loves mysteries, like it loves gossip. Then she sent an anonymous email to Barrister Fak Bokun. Your client's attempted murder. Check Aja construction site CCTV near the junction. The lawyer's stomach turned because he remembered something. Chief Tunde once told him privately, if anything happens to Z, it will be her sisters. Now, the prophecy was waking. The sisters start seeing ghosts in traffic. Kemi began to panic. It started as dreams. Z knocking from inside wood. Z singing their childhood lullaby from under the bed. Then it became real life. A delivery rider dropped a package at their gate. Inside was only soil. Sade tried to remain calm, But she started hearing whispers when she turned off the light. Lagos traffic became torture. Each time they were stuck on Lekki Epe Expressway, they feared a hand would tap their window because guilt makes even ordinary things supernatural. Kemi hired a private investigator, but Z had already moved like smoke, always present, never seen. She waited, she planned, she gathered more proof. Because her revenge wasn't going to be just physical, it would be social. In Lagos, the worst death is not death of body, it is death of reputation. The big reveal, a Lagos party, a Lagos trap. The perfect stage appeared. Kemi announced a lavish legacy celebration party in Lekki. She wanted to prove she was thriving. Influencers were invited, DJs, photo booths, champagne. Sade wanted to use the event to announce a new company using their father's assets. They didn't know the party would become their funeral without coffins. Z prepared. She contacted an investigative blogger, one of those Lagos pages that people fear more than court. She also contacted an old friend of her father's late, Chief Bamidele, a respected man with influence and a conscience. She gave him the evidence, plate number evidence, NOSI statement, the construction site security log. A voice recording Toby captured when the men discussed payment because Toby was smarter than he looked. Chief Bamidele shook. Z, you are alive? Z stepped into the light for the first time in weeks. Her face was slimmer, eyes deeper, but her voice was steady. I didn't come back for pity. I came back for justice. Chief Bamidele agreed. They planned the final move. She walked into their party like a nightmare. The party night came. Lekki glittered, cars lined up, flashing cameras. Soft life in full display. Kemi wore a gold dress. Sade wore white, pretending innocence. People laughed, danced, ate small chops, and praised them. Then the DJ stopped. The lights flickered. The projector screen they set up for photo memories suddenly changed. Instead of childhood pictures, a video played. Shaky footage, nighttime, two men, a coffin being dragged, a woman's muffled scream. Gasps filled the hall. Kemi's face dropped. Sade's lips parted. The crowd murmured like a wave. The video paused. Text appeared. You buried me alive. Then the doors opened and Z walked in. No makeup, simple black dress, calm face. The hall turned into ice. Someone screamed. Kemi's champagne glass fell and shattered. Sade stumbled backward like she saw a spirit. Z walked slowly, eyes locked on them. Her voice carried through the hall like a verdict. Good evening, Lagos. I'm not a ghost. I'm just your reminder that wickedness doesn't always win. Kemi shouted, Jesus, this is fake. This is. Z raised her hand. Fake? Ask your men. Ask the plate number. Ask the soil still inside my lungs. Sade tried to run, but security, now arranged by Chief Bamidele, blocked the exits. Police entered, this time not the Bribabo ones, but serious officers invited by influential witnesses. In Lagos, justice moves when powerful people push it. Z looked at her sisters. You buried me because you wanted property. Now you will lose property, freedom, and name. Kemi fell to her knees. Sade began crying, begging, but Z's face didn't change. Where was your mercy when I was gasping in that coffin? Judgment Lagos will never forget. The scandal exploded online. Blogs posted it. Twitter threads formed. TikTok edits went wild. People argued inheritance is dangerous. Sibling rivalry is witchcraft. Lagos girls are wicked. This is movie, but it wasn't a movie. Court case followed. Kemi and Sade were arrested. The two hired men were caught and confessed. The Lekki house was frozen legally until the case ended. Relatives who insulted Z began apologizing. Z watched it all with a quiet sadness because she didn't feel victory the way people expected. She felt emptiness because she didn't only lose trust, she lost her childhood, she lost her sisters forever. And Lagos had taught her something bitter. Sometimes the people who smile with you are the ones sharpening knives behind your back. The moral: Lagos is big, but truth is bigger. After the case, Z used part of the recovered assets to start a foundation in Surulere for women who had been betrayed, abused, or erased. She employed people like Toby and Auntie Ify because in a city where many watch people suffer, those who help deserve reward. She moved carefully, quietly. No need for loud life again. One day, a young girl met Z at the foundation and asked, Auntie Z, how did you survive? Z looked at her with eyes that had seen darkness and returned. I survived because God left me a witness and because I refused to die in silence. Then she added words that became a proverb among the women. In Lagos, they can bury you with lies, but if you rise with truth, you will become the fear of everyone who wronged you.